been in a lot of pretty big franchises. How's it feel to jump into something with such an iconic background?
It's cool. I remember it from, back in the day when I was a kid. I purposely didn't go back to watch the movies because I think that can be limiting sometimes, or you can feel the pressure from that. So, but you're right. It was Fast and Furious and then Dallas and then Lethal Weapon, and it's so lovely because you feel like there's a built-in fan base already, but then, of course, there's added pressure because fans are going to be watching, and there's kind of a microscope on it. But Matt Miller did such an amazing job with the script that I have full faith in the show.
So do you like it that it's more action-based too? Do you get to get out there and explore with it?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to be part of the action yet, but we'll see. I think that'll change down the line, depending on how many episodes we get to do. So that would be fun.
And how's the dynamic on set? Everybody seems everything.
Everyone's like we're all just pinching ourselves. We hope we get to keep doing this because everyone's got really good chemistry. Everyone's really fun. It's good.
Gotta ask, since you are such a big fan,
yes,
how much pressure was it taking on a role that's so established with the fan base?
Well, I think it was pressure before I read the script. Because after I read the script, I didn't feel any pressure because I felt like they had done their job. Matt Miller knew what he was doing. Everyone knew in the beginning, if we're going to do this, there's going to be a lot of people saying why, and you can't. All of those questions were answered before. So when they got to writing that script, they went in knowing that was going to be the criticism, and they rose above it. So when I read the script, I was like, yes, because I wouldn't want to be a part of it if it didn't honor the film, especially number one.
Especially number one.
So yeah.
How is it though working with the rest of the cast? Because everything we've seen so far, the dynamic of the cast looks like a family, which adds to the drama and any of the humor and action that goes in it. So how's everything revolve around that?
Oh, it's great. I think they did a great job casting it. And I didn't even meet Damon before I was cast, so I don't know how they knew that we were going to have so much chemistry. And then on top of that, all the kids and all, it just feels like a family. They did a really great. That's why casting is so important. When you're like, well, what does casting mean? It means this. When it's done right, boom. So yeah, I think there's no problem because we all have so much chemistry and it's a great set to work on.
You probably have the best role because you're coming in on a clean slate, correct?
The cleanest slate. The cleanest slate, especially the movies are, 30 years old, 87? Yes, I'm like almost 29 years old. Yeah. So the first one came out in 87, whatever. It's enough time to be kind of like forgetting it. And I think the most fun thing is going to be when people watch this show and be like, I don't remember this guy, but I don't care because he's great. I hope that's what happens.
You'll just naturally blend in.
Yeah, I think so.
With that being said, are you bringing yourself into the character, or is it a pretty straight-laced character that's already established?
Honestly, it takes me 2 seconds to memorize the dialogue because I'm like, I would say these things, outside of the, the technical terms and some of them still because I'm obsessed with vocabulary. I think, it's almost the job doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm just on Easy Street because everybody's also so fun and nice and welcoming, and my character is basically me, but obviously through the lens of a medical examiner. It's just been the easiest thing ever. It's crazy.
It's pretty great too that you get the intelligent role of of an investigator, but also the medical examiner. How much training did you do to get into that?
I've read 2.5 books on medical examination and autopsy. Yeah, the third one has, I've been putting it down because I've been reading the Harry Potter book. So work second to play. But and there's like a bunch of shows I started catching up on. Like I used to always watch Forensic Files, but I went back and watched a bunch on Netflix and spoke to a few pathologists here and there. So I've been doing my due diligence for sure. So I'm trying to carry myself as the right kind of person. Although I don't think there's a real Emmy that looks as hipstery as this. So this will be the first time.
All right, so if we're coming from a show like Mad Men,
yes,
and then into the captain role,
yes,
what did you bring in with it to adapt into such a drastically different character?
What did I bring? I brought all of my props from Mad Men.
Style.
I just in the desk though, all of the desk stuff. So you'll never know, but when I open the desk, I see Ted Shaw stuff. No, I don't. I feel like a lot of it came from the script. It came from Matt Miller's script. It's hard in a pilot episode outside of the main two guys to write full characters, and I feel like they were pretty full as they were on the page, and so it started from there, and then it has to do with the relationships that are forged on the set. You know, it all depends on who those guys are and what they're doing versus what we're doing. So we're trying to tell the story that Matt wrote, right? And so look at that puppy. Whose puppy is this? There's puppies out there? How cute is that puppy? I want that one. No, I'm just kidding. That's so, my wife sees me holding the puppy. I'll have to take him home. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That was awesome.
Such a cute puppy. So what did I brought? You know, I feel like it started with the script, and the main thing for me was finding a balance of having had been his partner, Murtaugh's partner, and now his boss. And there's a fine line between the amount of time you spend in the car with someone and your equals and your partners, and then now having to stand up and say, no, I'm in charge. You have to listen to me. He's taking status where this guy, Clayne Crawford, comes in and takes status and everything he's in, and so does Damon Wayans. So it's like it's a balance of status.
Hey, I'm Jenny.
Hey, how
nice
are
to
you,
meet
Jenny?
you.
Nice to see you again.
Okay, so I've got a couple questions. You've
Okay.
got two shows that are pretty much going parallel right now with Rectify and with Lethal Weapon.
Right.
How do you compare Teddy to Riggs?
It's kind of difficult, isn't it? I don't know how I would compare Teddy. They both just need a hug. They both like beer.
If Riggs ever had to arrest Teddy, how would that handle?
I don't think it'd go down really well.
Probably not.
Teddy, he's got a lot of foot and mouth issues, you know? There's no filter. Riggs doesn't have a filter, but in a really awesome way.
Nice.
Right? Yeah.
Right. My favorite question I have to ask is, are you channeling your inner Tom Selleck with the mustache?
Maybe.
I like it.
Maybe.
The most difficult part was finding Riggs. So we went through, I auditioned with a lot of guys, and they were all doing like some sort of version of what Mel Gibson did. And they were talking about Clayne a week before we started shooting. And so all I did was have breakfast with him, and we talked, and I can hear from his rhythm and cadence that he's too honest to try to mimic Mel. And it was a trust exercise. He delivered.
You can tell that definitely in watching all the stuff that's been released so far. There's definitely a chemistry amongst all the cast. So you're obviously not too old for this shit. So with that said, what life are you bringing into Murtaugh?
I really am. I'm 56 years old. Maybe I don't look it, but I am 56, I think. And you get in your 50s, your body doesn't move like it used to move, and you don't think as quickly as you used to think. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge to do this every day, and see, that's 50 kicking in. I don't even know what to say.
No worries, you're doing great. Thank you so much.